You would never go to war against people who were already in your living room or where you had been in their living room. You would not be able to fight against them in a war.
The work of NGOs on peace is not only directed at the questions of arms and disarmament, even though this makes up an important focus of their engagement in the NGO Committee on Peace, Vienna. Peace movements and organizations work mostly inside their societies with a vision of positive peace, which is a much broader concept than the mere negation of war. It includes justice, reconciliation, human rights, development, and sustainability, or in other words, the Sustainable Development Goals of the Agenda 2030. When we think of working on peace and conflict, we can discern three main peace strategies, which originated from the peace and conflict researcher Johan Galtung in his famous ABC triangle. In the 1990s, Secretary General Boutros Ghali included it in his agenda for peace. These strategies describe the means necessary to achieve peace. These strategies are not limited to the actions of states or military, but are comprised mainly of civilian means for dealing with conflicts. The first strategy is peacemaking. It includes negotiation, mediation, and, for instance, results in ceasefire agreements. So the content of a conflict, like the access to natural resources or the possession and distribution of land, is at the center of peacemaking. Peacebuilding, the second peace strategy, deals with the attitudes of a conflict party as well as the ways to prevent violence before and during conflicts. Moreover, it explores reasons and consequences of war. Some examples of these consequences are the return and resettlement of refugees, processes related to reconciliation, and trust building for nonviolent conflict transformation. Peacebuilding lays the foundations for keeping a just and sustainable peace. Peacebuilding instruments may be summarized as tools for building a culture of peace, as declared in various documents of UNESCO and promoted during the UN International Decade for a Culture of Peace and Nonviolence from 2001 to 2010. Education, especially in regard to gender and equal opportunities for women and girls to access formal and informal education, plays a key role in realizing a culture of peace. This was reinforced by the UN Security Council Resolution 1325 and subsequent resolutions on women, peace, and security.
Graduate Women International, GWI, is an international NGO founded in 1919 as International Federation of University Women, representing women graduates from over 60 countries worldwide. GWI sees safe access and the completion of quality secondary education as a critical means to provide girls and women with the tools and skills necessary to progress higher in education, work and society, and to contribute to the world's peace-building efforts. Educating girls boosts confidence and hope, promotes independent thinking, builds communication and negotiation skills, reduces support of terrorism and militancy, encourages political involvement, and cultivates respect, all of which positively influence the peace-building process.
GWI works in partnership with national members to implement locally driven projects that can create positive change for girls' education. Girls' Choices is a GWI project that supports teenage girls to complete secondary school and transition to university, further education, or work.
When you look in the present life, gender is something that has been such a big bother to the girls, especially girls, because we find ourselves not having the dreams that we're supposed to have as ladies because we lack empowerment. I'd like to urge the people out there to empower women because everybody has their own capabilities and everybody can take life to the next level in their own way.
The empowerment of women and girls through education fosters increased awareness of international humanitarian crisis and allows to positively impact peace and stability.
GWI actively contributes to the 2030 Agenda by advocating globally for the implementation of the SDG4, making inputs at the local governments, the United Nations, the Human Rights Council, and international fora such as the Committee on the Status of Women.
GWI appeals to the Council to encourage member states to provide formal and informal learning opportunities for all girls, including those with disability, in indigenous communities, refugees, and those whose lives have been disrupted by natural disasters and war.
University Women Helping Afghan Women includes advocacy and public awareness initiatives, as well as fundraising for scholarships.
Empowering women and girls through education is crucial for sustainable development and peace.
Building relationships with people from different countries, cultural backgrounds, and ways of life is also an important part of peacebuilding and peace education. Living in host families for some days or visiting people while traveling contributes to peace on a very basic interpersonal level.
I'm a member of Servus International, Servus Austria, the Austrian branch of Servus International. And it's quite an old organization. It was founded right after the Second World War under the name of Peacebuilders, because it wanted to promote peace on a personal level, or peace and understanding through goodwill and through openness and tolerance vis-à-vis people you don't know.
Servus is a net. Members, individual members, family members, households in 155 countries. We have got hosts and we've got travelers.
At the time the organization was founded, the idea was that by having as many people as possible contribute to this openness and understanding and willingness to encounter people from no matter where would in itself be a contribution to world peace.
And what is also very important is that those young people learn responsibility and awareness for each other, so they are involved in organizing events, discussions, with the local people, raising awareness about solidarity, about human rights, about the environment, about social problems. And sometimes our members even take quite high risks to get involved in this organization.
A third strategy for peace is called peacekeeping, which tries to prevent or stop violent behavior. It includes interpositioning, keeping fighting groups apart, and creating peace zones or peace communities where no weapons are allowed. Furthermore, peacekeeping can be accompanying people or organizations under the threat of being attacked by armed groups. Several UN resolutions on protection of civilians have been adopted since 1999. Many of them have been connected specifically to UN peacekeeping operations that utilize the military and the police. Community-level nonviolent organizations predated larger unarmed civilian peacekeeping organizations like Gandhi's Shanti Sena or the Peace Brigade International.
If you want peace, it only works without violence. Great examples are Martin Luther King and Gandhi. Violence creates violence again. Our task is to be present. The second task is to report and testify, to raise a voice for those people who otherwise do not have a voice. The themes are peace and justice. For example, we accompany shepherds. We have a camera, and if something happens, we can record that. People need solidarity, so they do not lose hope.
What I4 has done all through its existence, more or less, is training people from the base of society in dealing with conflicts non-violently and in direct non-violent action to change situations of violence and of injustice.
During the late 1990s, paramilitary groups were very active in Urabá region, which is in the north of Colombia, and several communities, mainly small-scale farmers in the areas, then kind of opted out of violence and decided to create their peace communities. Protective accompaniment is often referred to an international non-violent intervention, to protect without arms local human rights organizations, communities, or individual human rights defenders.
These are just a few examples of peace work by civil society actors. By using the strategies of peacemaking, peacebuilding, and peacekeeping, they contribute to peace and justice in conflict areas. The NGO Committee on Peace tries to make the experiences of its member organizations known better, as they contribute to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war.